Hello everyone, I'm Koji Tanabe, CEO of iPS. Today I'd like to dig into the question we get asked more than any other, one I think almost everyone watching has wondered about at some point.
I want to ask you all about it too. You've been branching out into all sorts of areas lately, and in an earlier video, you told us that iPS is now culturing and producing iPS cells for private individuals, for the general public. Can ordinary people really have their own iPS cells made now?
Yes, personal EPS cells can already be made today. Up until now, EPS cells were only produced within large national projects, and you could only make one person's worth per year. That made it essentially impossible for an individual to have their own. But with our current mass production technology, we can now make EPS cells from virtually anyone. And producing them used to cost enormous sums, well over yen 1 billion per person. At our facility, we can now make a single person's iPS cells for around a few million yen. So right now, we're steadily producing personal iPS cells for individuals.
From your sense of it, Koji, the people who actually have an illness with no current treatment, who are waiting for iPS cell therapy, how many are there?
I'd say a great many. The reason is that iPS cells can become so many different types of cells, so there are a huge number of conditions they could apply to. That's why bringing this to reality quickly matters so much. Enormous national budgets have gone into iPS cell research, and the science has already advanced all the way to clinical use. People are waiting, so answering that need as fast as possible is critical. The challenge is that if you rely on research funding alone, things move forward when the money is there, but stall when it isn't. That's the reality right now. So, through services like banking, we produce iPS cells for individual clients, and then use those funds to invest in and develop iPS cell treatments for people who are suffering. That's one of the most important parts of iPS's vision as a company.
So individuals having their own cells made actually drives the advancement of treatments.
Exactly. When individuals bank their cells, those funds go to work. The thing is, not many people even realize that you can bank and store your own personal iPS cells in the first place. So if more people learn about it and make use of it, the path to real-world application gets faster and faster, which is a genuine contribution to society. That's why I really want as many people as possible to know about it. There's another important point too. As individuals bank their cells, in theory, once enough accumulate, you start finding immune-type matches, even for people who haven't banked their own. So as the volume grows, more people find a match, even those who never banked, meaning you help yourself and help others at the same time. That's the beauty of iPS cells. With ordinary stem cells, there's a limit to how much they can multiply, and you may have to collect them all over again. But iPS cells multiply without limit. Even if you used a huge amount for someone else, say 100 million cells, you can grow another 100 million for yourself again right away.
So even after you've used some, you basically don't need to culture them again from scratch.
There's no need to remake them. You just grow more. Once you've made an individual's iPS cells, they can go on to help many other people. And you can still multiply your own iPS cells without limit.
We've heard about the benefits of having your iPS cells made. To push the research forward, to speed up that path to practical use, what can the viewers watching actually do?
The democratization of iPS cells. As you all know, everyone's heard that Neil Armstrong landed on the moon and left his footprints there. But far fewer people know how that actually changed society. It's the same here. People know the names iPS cells and Shinya Yamanaka, but accurate information about how it's affecting society and how far it's actually come hasn't really reached people. And as you said, there's real significance in being able to have your own iPS cells and store them for the future, including the possibility of using them in part for longevity and health. So it's genuinely important that people share accurate information and pass it on. When you come across knowledge or news about iPS cells, Raising that iPS cell literacy matters a great deal for society.
I agree. So, as you said, the key is getting as many people as possible to understand this. If you're watching this video, please do share it. And on YouTube specifically, the more likes, subscriptions, and watch time a video gets, the more it surfaces and the more widely it spreads. So, if some twist of fate has brought you to this video, please don't forget to subscribe. One last thing I wanted to ask. We've talked about banking today. So, concretely, if someone wants to have their own iPS cells made and banked, what's the process?
It's really simple. Our technology can create iPS cells from just 30 milliliters of blood, about the same amount they draw during a routine blood test, just 5 or 6 tubes. As for how it works, we take your blood and ship it to our facility in Kyoto in a dedicated container, under strict quality control where temperature and timing are all fully tracked. There, we extract certain cells from the blood, the cells that become the seed of iPS cells. We culture them for a while, and then introduce the genes Professor Yamanaka discovered that turn them into iPS cells. Once those genes are introduced into the cells we took from your blood, there's footage of this too. After about 2 to 3 weeks, small colonies start to appear, like little seeds. We pick those, grow them, and keep expanding them until they stabilize. And that's how we make an individual's iPS cells. Even so, it takes about 6 to 8 months. And lately, the waiting list has gotten extremely long. So from start to finish, it can take around a year. That's why the most important thing is to have them made while you're healthy. iPS cells can take a person of any age and return them to the state of a newborn, age 0. Whether you're 90, 60, or 2 years old, they can all go back to 0. The one thing they're not good at is DNA damage. Once DNA is damaged, even resetting the cell leaves that damage in place. So at any age, the key is to make iPS cells from healthy cells before that damage occurs. There's another reason too. For conditions like heart failure or spinal cord injury, the time until transplantation matters. Even for a kidney, you can't wait 6 months or a year. So having them made and ready in advance is critically important. And no matter how far science advances, just as it takes about 10 months for a baby to be born, resetting cells will always take a certain amount of time. That's very unlikely to get dramatically shorter, which is exactly why making them early matters. If you wait until you're in trouble and only then say, let's make iPS cells now, and then start treatment, it'll take a considerable amount of time.
So the benefit of banking for an individual is being ready to use them the moment you need them. And the more individuals use it, the more the research and practical application move forward. That's the big advantage.
It's an enormous advantage. So, to wrap up today in 3 points. First, on the question of whether iPS cells can be used for transplantation right now, not immediately, but practical application is quite close. Second, making your own iPS cells and storing them for the future, getting them ready so they can be used the moment regenerative medicine arrives, is something you can do right now. Think of it as life insurance made from your own cells. Third, the funds from banking go toward medical research and clinical trials, letting us push things even further. So, by banking, you can change your own future and not only secure your own health, but potentially help safeguard the health of others as well. We'd love for as many of you as possible to bank your own iPS cells. Doing so can improve both your own health and the future health of others. And please, help this video reach more people. Your likes and subscriptions truly help. Thank you so much.